back to FPL chat down under. We've had the international break, but we're back, ready to go. I've got Big Alex here. How are you doing, mate?
Doing well, mate. Just another week in Melbourne. We're getting by, but Premier League's back this week, so it's all pointing up.
Well, I've got to say, it's tough as well, isn't it, for Australians in the international break, because they don't play any of the games at a reasonable time, do they? You've got none of the 10 p.m. kickoffs. It's all 3, 5 a.m.s.
Yeah,
it's a tough one.
Just games you don't really want to wake up for, unfortunately, but it is what it is. That's the perks of living on the other side of the world, unfortunately.
It is the perks. It is the perks. Well, we're doing it a bit differently this week. What we've done is we've taken 3 players each we're looking forward to seeing. We think there's a bit of value. We think they're going to score well. And we've taken one game where we think there could be a lot of value in that game for us to look at. And then obviously we've got our team selection. So we'll start off. The first player we're going to take a look at that Alex has chosen is Big Bakary Saka. So tell us about what you like about him.
Yeah, no, I really, really like Saka. I just think he's I think he's the most nailed on midfielder out of that Arsenal lineup. I think the beautiful thing, unless you're an Arsenal fan, I think the beautiful thing for us as FPL coaches is Arsenal aren't playing European football this year. They're not really doing, all that midweek football all the time, unless it's a random cup game here and there. So Saka and guys like that get as much rest as they need. So with that much rest coming, you'd assume that he's just going to be nailed on every week, barring that he's injured and he actually can't make it out. And I just love the way he plays. He's just quick on the ball. He's really skillful. He just gets into really, really good positions where he can either play an assist or fire in a shot. He loves cutting back in. He's got a lot of pace on him. We see it when he plays for England, and he's doing it now in the Premier League. He's just a really, really good talent. Arsenal have some really, really good fixtures coming up still over the next few weeks, which is really, really handy. And I just think his job security is amazing. And only at 6.3 with the fixtures Arsenal have at the moment. They're playing a lot better. That 6.3 is really, really good value. He's only in 11.6% as well, which is really surprising. I thought with the last couple of games he's played, it would be a little bit higher than that. But if you're ready to jump on him, because I think 6.3 at the moment for the next few weeks anyways is it's great value for Saka.
Oh, I agree as well. I mean, 4.1 for a 6.3 return is not bad, considering that he was part of the team when they were so appalling, when they weren't even creating chances. And he's got, like you say, a really easy fixture. Like Palace, they're a team really struggling as well this year. They're not really getting their just desserts, and they do look very susceptible down the back. So he's someone that definitely 6 million. A lot of people are on the bench for that.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, I think those fixtures for Arsenal just are a big reason why we look at the Arsenal players at the moment, and they're starting to actually make use of them. They've got obviously in defense, they've got a couple more clean sheets. Guys like Saka and Smith are all returning now. Aubameyang's even coming in a little bit too. So yeah, no, the Arsenal assets are really starting to come into play a little bit over the last few weeks. And I personally think Saka's the best one of the lot. I think he's just a really, really good footballer. And at 6.3, he's not the most expensive footballer in the FPL. So, yeah, I think he's great value.
I'm a huge fan. I think Bakary Saka, one of the top underrated players as well in fantasy as well, because he's got a game that I think is similar to Rafinha, but he's playing for a side that he is one of the primary focal points, where Rafinha is kind of more of the provider.
Yep. No, I'm with you there. It's a very similar game style, and it's one that we love in FPL. So yeah, no, I think it's definitely good value this week. As we see, Palace haven't been too great defensively this season. So someone like Saka can definitely open them up.
Well, I mean, over to a player that everyone knows, Trent Alexander-Arnold. He returns this week, projected to, and 7 points a game for a return of 7.6 million. I think he is a no-brainer. He is a midfielder, effectively, masquerading as a left-back. Got Watford this week. He's the kind of guy as well that I think, looking at Liverpool's fixtures, where they have got a few tricky fixtures, he's a player that I'd be looking to provide. And Liverpool don't want to drop points. He's everything. I'll watch Trent Alexander-Arnold. Liverpool are a super better side with him in there, no matter what anyone says. And he's in everything. Like him and Mo Salah they control the show down at Liverpool.
Yeah, on that right side, they're a deadly duo. Trent Alexander-Arnold and Mo Salah, and I think now with the return of Alexander-Arnold, you're going to see them go even more attacking than they already are. He's touted, and unless you're you can be a rival fan, whatever, but he's arguably the best right back in England, arguably the best right back in the world at times. We love that as an FPL asset, that he's a defender that gets clean sheets, but he's also got that capability of scoring goals and getting assists quite easily as well, with that much attacking talent that he provides. So, yeah, no, big fan of Trent Alexander-Arnold. I bravely took him out, a few weeks ago. I think there's going to come a point where I probably will need to get him back because he's just such an important part of what Liverpool are about. And, Liverpool, more times than not, they're going to be on the front foot. So there's always clean sheets there. There's always attacking returns there with him. So 7.6, it seems like a lot for a defender. But when you think of the guys like, Ronaldo's and your De Bruyne's and your Bruno's and all that are in the 12s, 7.6 is nothing, and you're happy to spend that. So, yeah, no, it's very good value.
Yeah, I always look, if you can try and get the average around your defender's value, you're doing pretty well. And 7 is of the high side anyway. I mean, you're talking midfield numbers there, striker numbers. And like you say, when you compare them to a top-level midfielder, a top-level premium striker, 7 million is budget. So always worthy of having in, because the way I look at it, I'd rather spend 7 million on Trent and have a Antonio up top than maybe having a 4.5 centre-back and a Lukaku, because Trent is going to give you 6 week in, week out.
Yeah, I think the unfortunate thing as well for 4.5 mil defenders is it's not always the teams that the top teams like Liverpool and your Uniteds and Chelseas and all that, where clean sheets are near given more times than not. It's always the teams like Leeds and Norwich and all that, where clean sheets are a little bit harder and the attacking threat isn't really as high in there. So we've been a bit blessed with guys like Ben White and the new Japanese boy that Chelsea signed as well. I can't remember the name off the top of my head. Tomiyasu, I think it is. But yeah, no, we've been blessed with that a little bit. But apart from that, yeah, you're not going to find many Liverpool supporters down. So if you're willing to spend up, which a lot of people are, and I will most certainly get to that point at some point, you pick Trent because he's just such a massive threat.
He's a phenomenal footballer. And your next pick might be surprised some people here, but Phil Foden, a man who's in a lot of form at the moment.
Yeah, he's playing out of his skin at the moment. He's playing some really, really good football. He's actually, the last couple of games, he's actually leading the line for Manchester City, which is really, really surprising. Obviously we had that massive craze earlier on with Ferran Torres and, Gabriel Jesus playing out wide and so on and so forth. But now Ferran Torres is out. It's Phil Foden in, it seems. There's always the biggest fear with City is Pep Roulette, and Foden is playing so good at the moment, but then he could just easily get dropped out of nowhere. It's a risk you got to take, unfortunately, with Manchester City boys. But someone like Phil Foden, the way that he's playing at the moment, he's just in everything. He's either assisting or kicking a goal at the moment. He's just performing super well. And yeah, with City's fixtures turning much for the better over the next few weeks. If Phil Foden gets regular game time, it could be almost certain goals or certain attacking returns with the way he plays. He's a phenomenal talent. He's arguably the best of the new crop of the English boys coming through, and he's phenomenal. I love watching him, and definitely someone to watch out for, especially if he starts this week against Burnley.
Oh, mate, he's a mercurial. He's a top-level talent. Like you saw on England duty as well. He can slot in anywhere, and he has got the ability to score as well. Like that's what he has demonstrated recently. Pep says he's the most talented young player he's ever seen, which says a lot, because you look at where he's been, seen some fairly handy kids. 7.9 million, just averaging under 4 a game, which isn't bad, considering he's kind of, you look at them games, there's few 90-minute games there. He's been a bit part player for a few of them, 20 minutes or less. 2.3% ownage as well. So he's a huge point of difference. And I think he's a guy that's probably, Pep likes him. Pep likes him. We saw the press conference a couple of weeks ago where he said Phil Foden used to come into his office excited he was picked for a Carabao Cup game. Now he's demanding he starts Champions League games. He obviously likes him. So you know that he's probably a guy, now he's back to full fitness. Good chance that he avoids Pep Roulette because Pep seems to have a soft spot for Phil.
Yeah, no, he's a great talent. I really do love Phil Foden, and if he gets regular starts, he's just one of those players as well. Even if he's not starting and he comes on for the last 30 minutes, he's a guy that can still have a return in that 30 minutes. That's how good the guy is. He when he comes on, he just makes an immediate impact. Sort of like Diogo Jota from last season with Liverpool. He was never going to start, was never going to play 90 minutes every week, but he comes on and makes an immediate impact, kicks a goal in his 30 minutes, and that's Phil Foden to a T. So whether he's starting or he is on the bench, he's a handy asset to have.
No, I agree with that pick, and I like it. I do love a bit of Phil Foden. For my second pick, I'm going with my goalkeeper at the moment, Big Ramsdale, 4.6, averaging 6 a game. He got 6 last week, 5% ownership still. I love this guy. I love this guy's save potential, commands his area well. Arsenal have got some really easy fixtures as well. They're in that good run. A lot of clean sheet potential. Ramsdale, I love this kid. I love the boy. I loved him at Sheffield United. Think he's a bargain. Think he's going to replace Sanchez as the best goalkeeper for bang for your buck. Get around him.
Yeah, no, he's brilliant. He makes some really, really good saves, and as you said, commands his area very well. Arsenal have got some great fixtures. There's a lot of clean sheet potential there, as you said. So it feels almost like a no-brainer these days. It's either Sanchez or Ramsdale you got to have at the moment. Like obviously people want to spend up for the Edisons and the Mendys of the world, but I mean with the way Ramsdale and Sanchez are going at the moment, you can't not go past them. Especially this guy. He's got some great fixtures coming up for quite a number of game weeks still to come. So 4.6, you get onto cheap goalkeepers like that can provide the goods.
No, I'm with you, and I just think, I trust Arsenal's back four over Brighton's.
Yeah, I do too. So there's
so
a lot more. I mean, with Ben White there now, you've got Gabriel back. Then obviously you've got Tomiyasu. You've even got Kieran Tierney there as well, along with Ramsdale. Like obviously it's no world beater names or anything like that, but they're looking very solid at the moment. They're holding their positions very well and they're defending really well at the moment. So Arsenal picks are definitely ones to look out for over the next few weeks.
Mate, I'm with you, and now we've built him up. Prepare for him to concede 3 this weekend.
Can't wait. Looking forward to it. I'm glad I don't have him in my team yet, so enjoy
it. I can't wait for them negative points. But then we've got your last pick and a man that you've bigged up for the last couple of weeks. Tell me about it.
Yeah. Surprisingly, on the last show before the international break, I was all over this bloke, and I mean, I didn't know what to expect from it. I knew he was I said he was the Aldi version of Erling Haaland, and it was a massive call. But that game week, he come out I think he kicked 2 goals if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, he kicked the 2 goals, got the 3 bonus points. He's just looking really good with Raul Jimenez. They look like they've got a nice little 1-2 combo, 1-2 duo going there at the moment. They're finding each other really well. Jimenez got 2 assists for both of Chan's goals. So there's that chemistry there already. He's just such a powerful athlete. He gets into the right spots. He's got a great shot on him as well. He's only 5.6 as well. Wolves still have some pretty decent fixtures coming up at the moment too. Obviously, their defensive assets were not as good as what we would have hoped they would have been, which is a shame. But the attacking ones are definitely coming through, and Chan especially at 5.6 with the fixtures coming, you got to get onto him. I can't see after his last couple of performances, I can't see him dropping to the bench anytime soon. So he's definitely one that I've got. I've picked him up this week. I just got to trust my gut and trust these blokes are going to perform for me. So I've got him in. I'm glad to have him in, and looking forward to see what happens.
He's an absolute jet as well. So quick, good finishing as he's demonstrated. He's carried over that Bundesliga reputation he's got as a little bit of a poacher, playing off the last man. Suits Wolves' game style as well. Really has integrated well. I love this pick. 5.6. you're talking the lowest end value you can get pretty much for a starting playing striker. So, no, I love this pick.
Yeah, no, all on board with it. I can't wait to watch him blank this week and only play 45 minutes, but world of FPL, huh?
Well, I mean, his pace, he fits into the Foden category, doesn't he? 20 minutes running at a tired centre-back could be points in 30 minutes anyway.
Yeah, he's like I said, he's a powerful athlete. He finishes well around the net as well and in the box. So yeah, no, he's definitely a nice asset to have, and I can see him being a nice asset basically all season long.
Definitely agree. And my final guy is probably the set and forget captain, as we call him, averaging 10 a game, 13 last week after the poor week before. 61.7% of you own him. Mo Salah, 12.7. I'm guessing that them 38.3% of people that don't own him play for Liverpool, and because of the FPL laws that they're not allowed to pick him. Any Liverpool things that must be accounting for it. But this kid is phenomenal. And I think looking at his fixtures coming up, he's got an easy fixture this week. Bit of a tougher couple of fixtures coming up against big clubs, but he is the main man. And he's someone at the moment who is getting Liverpool out of a lot of holes.
Yeah, it's just with Mo Salah, the thing is with him, he's fixture proof. So what we mean by that is it doesn't matter who they're playing against. They could play against Norwich or they could play against Manchester City. It doesn't matter who it is. You just know this guy's going to come out and perform and likely get a return somehow. He's honestly, it pains me to say it, being a Manchester United supporter, and I'm sure you vouch for this as well. It pains us to say it, but he's arguably the best player in the world at the moment, and he's playing like it. He's just a phenomenal talent. The 12.7 that you're spending, you definitely getting your money's worth. As you said, that 38.3%, I don't know what they're doing, not having him. This guy should be in literally 100% of teams. He's your captain choice every week almost, second to none. And he's a brilliant talent. And it's always a pleasure in FPL terms having Mo Salah in your team, because you just know what you're going to get. You know you're going to get points, and he provides it in spades.
He's a tough player to look past, isn't he? I mean, you often run the idea of getting rid of him. Yeah, like there's occasions, like the week before game week 6, where he had a bit of a poor week, didn't really produce. And it crosses your mind, doesn't it? 12.7 could be saved. I could upgrade one striker, get a top level centre back. But then he does what he did last week. 10 minutes in 90 minutes, he turned it on, 13 points. And you're like, hard to look past, isn't it? I mean, when he's your captain every week as well, and he's effectively doubling his $1 million worth of value in your budget, it's a no-brainer, isn't it?
Until he blanks like 10 games in a row, I'll never get rid of this guy. He'll be staying in my team for all season long. And if he even blanks 1 or 2 games, it's not very long before he's off getting double-digit hauls again. So yeah, he's as I said, fixture-proof, superstar at the moment. You can't go past him.
Mate, I'm with you. So then we've got the games to watch, and you've picked out a really interesting fixture here. The Hammers entertain Everton. This is like the battle of your mid-prices, isn't it? I think everyone's mid-prices are playing in this game.
It really is, yeah. No, and I picked this game specifically as well because I don't think it's going to be one for the defenses. So sorry if you've got West Ham or Everton defenders in your team at the moment, but I think this could genuinely be a really high-scoring affair. It could easily be a 3-3 scoring draw for all we know, or it could just be, a 4-2 game or something like that. I'm expecting really high score. You can see the top scorers there. You got Mikel Antonio, mid-pricer, Ben Rama, mid-pricer. Doucouré, Townsend, and Damari Gray are all only 5.5 or 5.6. We love it. We love a cheapie here on FPL Chat Down Under, and these guys really, really are spectacular footballers. Obviously, with Everton as well, there's the potential of the return for Richarlison and potentially Calvert-Lewin as well. So that just adds even more attacking threat to the game. And yeah, I'm expecting a really high-scoring game in this one. I don't think it's going to be a 0-0 or a 1-1 sort of game if I'm taking my best guess. And there's so much value there with those 5 guys. Obviously, DCL and Richarlison coming back in as well. You got other guys like Jared Bowen and stuff like that playing well as well. So. Yeah, I think this game has tremendous value if you're looking for one game in particular, and could be a good scoring game.
I think also as well, you look at these top 5 scorers, it is screaming to you that you pick the winner of this game, you're probably winning in the points factor. Pretty much, because you look, not much is separating them. You're looking what, a goal is separating Gray to Antonio almost in total points. So it's an interesting one. I agree with you, because I think this game is going to have some real opportunities as well for your mid-pricers. Your Damari Grays, if DCL returns, if Richarlison returns, more assist opportunities, because really Damari Gray's been solo, hasn't he, the last couple of weeks. And Townsend, we saw how well he does. He can pop up with a goal. But again, he's benefiting from the return of his striking pair. He's got someone to hit it into. And then you've got Ben Rama and Antonio. They just keep scoring, don't they? Everyone keeps saying West Ham are going to start losing. Moyes can't keep it up. But these two keep going above the position of their clubs. So, and then there's a plethora of players in 30s, isn't there? You've got your Kufals and players like that, all of which on their day have scored double digits. So I love this game, because this game here probably will win you your head-to-head in a league.
Yeah, I feel like more so from an attacking rather than a defensive standpoint. There's just so many players you could select here that has the potential to score a goal or have some sort of a return. So that's specifically why I picked this game, and can't wait for it to be a 0-0 draw. But and comes to ruin me. But no, from looking at it from paper, there's so much value here. So yeah, it's definitely a good game to watch.
No, I agree with you, and it's an exciting game as well. It'd be a good game, because you love them mid-table type, middle of the road games, don't you? I know West Ham are doing a lot better in Everton are than mid-table, but it's kind of that very evenly matched, aren't they? Very evenly matched clubs. A game that really this 3 points may be European competition next year.
Yeah, exactly.
Already.
Exactly. Yeah.
Already in October.
I know. That's where we're at the moment.
Well, the game that I've picked, I've gone Watford Liverpool. For the same theory as you. I think Liverpool here, I just watch Watford play. It's a very positive style of football. And I've just got a feeling that Liverpool are going to have some real attacking points here. And I'm looking at this game, particularly with my Mo Salah, but other Liverpool players, and I'm still debating bringing in another one. I think this could be a high-scoring game for Liverpool. And you look at their high scorers here. You've got the goalkeeper, Becker and Van Dijk, obviously. But you've got your Mane and your Salah combination. I think there's going to be a lot of points here. And I think this game screams Captain Salah.
Yeah, it absolutely does. We've probably gone a week or two without, having a bit of a worry about is Salah going to be captain or not. Well, I mean, this week he's almost a certainty to be captain if you've got him. Watford have I don't think they've kept a clean sheet yet at all in the Premier League, and coming up against Liverpool, who are one of the best scorers in the league, it's hard to see Watford keeping another clean sheet. I think the interesting thing to see with Watford, how they will play now, is obviously they've sacked their coach. They've brought in Claudio Ranieri into Watford now. So it'll be quite interesting to see what sort of game style they play. We've been so accustomed to Ismail Assar being the man, and everything goes through him and Emmanuel Dennis. But with Ranieri coming in, we know he's very big on being strong defensively and then pushing forward in attack on the counter attack from there, as he did so brilliantly with Leicester when they surprisingly won the title. So yeah, that's going to definitely be something to watch. But I'm banking on a big scoring Liverpool game here. And yeah, if you've got Mo Salah, definite captain pick.
Yeah, I've got this one 4-0, so I am throwing in my captain's basket, Mo Salah to get a hat-trick. And I believe we're head-to-head this week in the league.
Are we? Okay.
I do believe so. I do believe we are. So let's look at your team that you're going with.
Well, if I'm playing you this week, it looks like it could be looking by that, could be a pretty decent week for you. Like, unlucky for you. Lucky for me, I've got options on the bench. So, no, I made a couple of changes this week. I opted to get Ruben Dias in. I felt like I needed a City defender in. We've spoken about I spoke about it before, how the fixtures are starting to turn really, really good for Manchester City. We know they're very strong defensively. Ruben Dias he's the captain. He's just nailed on each week. So I've just gone a bit of the safer pick there, as opposed to a bit of a roulette with either Cancelo or a Laporte or Kyle Walker. So Going with that, obviously I've got Rudiger and I bought in Reece James as well. I think I've read a couple of reports that he could potentially be back this week. He looks like he's training, so if he makes a return this week, there's potential for clean sheets there. And if they both play, I'm not complaining at all. Obviously got Salah, Saka, Gray. Rafinha's a bit of the worry there, obviously with international duty, so we'll see what happens there. And then obviously the big three of Ronaldo, Lukaku, and Hwang. Leading the line with White, Livramento, and Brian Mbeumo, who I also bought in this week because after this Chelsea game, Brentford's fixtures are quite good as well. So I wanted to bring him in for the good fixtures. But I mean, if I've got the injuries there with Rudiger, James, Rafinha, and Lukaku, if three of them don't play, I at least have three guys on that bench who I know will come on and play. All I need is one of them to play. So fingers crossed. So we'll see what happens.
Well, I mean, I love it. For my sake, I hope they don't play. But the team going against you this week is this one. So you've dissed Cancelo, but I jettisoned one of my centre backs from last week, and I brought in big Cancelo. I'm going with the attacking threat. I'm going bold. I know you've said not to, but I'm going bold. I did look at Diash. Looking at that now, I'm not going to change it, but I'm thinking it might have saved me. But I think that's a good point of difference. Sticking though with Shaw was a question mark for me because I have been disappointed with him, but I decided to keep him. Going with Ramsdale in goal. Midfield, I'm happy with this one. We've got Salah, Mount. He's meant to be starting this week. Big Thomas has said that he is fit for 90 minutes. I've stuck with Odegaard. And then I've gone with the big two I'm still backing in Dennis. It's ever since I've got on the Dennis train, he's killed me. But we have got Cody and MacArthur and Bissouma on the pine. So should there be an injury, I'm quite confident with big Connor Cody will back me up. But that is the team I'm going in with to face the mighty Alex.
Oh, we'll see how it goes. It'll be an interesting game, that's for sure. I've kind of been looking forward to this matchup all season long, so we'll see what happens.
Well, it's interesting because our big scorers are all the same, aren't they? So it's going to clearly come down to our budget picks.
Yeah, it's going to come down to those differential picks, that's for sure. So, no, it'll be an interesting game. It'll be a very interesting week in FPL. It's always interesting week in the Premier League after the international break. You just don't know what you're going to get. It's particularly results-wise from a lot of games. So, it's going to definitely be a great watch. It's good to have FPL back again until the next international break next month, and we'll enjoy it. We'll keep making changes. We'll keep getting frustrated at players getting injured and price changes, and players not performing. But that's why we play the game. We love it.
Well, I think the Man City Burnley game, it'll probably come down to one. Cancelo versus Diaz.
Hope Cancelo. For your sake, I hope Cancelo cops the pep roulette and gets dissed, and that's it.
Surely not. Surely he wouldn't do it. He wouldn't do it in that big fixture against Burnley. It's a Lancashire derby, so surely he won't.
Time will tell. Time will tell.
Well, we'll see who wins next week. Thank you all for joining us. Till next time, we'll see you next week.